Blockbuster owns the market. DVDs are new. Reed Hastings wants to answer one question. Can a DVD survive the mail? He buys a disc, puts it in a regular envelope, and mails it to himself. It arrives perfectly fine. That moment triggers the launch. The early Netflix team runs hundreds of tests, different envelopes, materials, sizes. They study postal machines trying to find which envelope survives the system. The internal code name is Kibble, meaning, if we don't use the product ourselves, no one will. Around the same time, a lesser-known event happens. Amazon offers $15 million to buy Netflix in 1998. Huge money for a tiny startup. Hastings says no. He knows Netflix would become just a small feature inside Amazon. The idea looks insane, mailing DVDs in a crowded rental market with slow internet. But Netflix bets on one thing Blockbuster keeps messing up. People hate late fees. And from one test envelope, the story begins. Early 2000s. Internet speeds jump. DVDs are still growing, but everyone knows the format won't last forever. Inside Netflix, early streaming tests begin. Not a real service yet, just a small add-on. A few hundred hours of content, low quality, browser only. But the logic is simple. If the internet catches up, DVDs will die. The real problem is internal. Most Netflix managers feared the move. DVDs make the money. Streaming looks like killing your own business before someone else does it. A little-known fact, Netflix didn't just study the market, it studied piracy. They analyzed BitTorrent download data to decide which shows to license. In some countries, piracy stats directly influenced content deals. Meanwhile, internet adoption accelerates. Netflix realizes the question isn't, should we do streaming, but can we do it before anyone else? This becomes the fight between a safe, profitable business and a risky future that looks inevitable. And the fear of DVDs becoming obsolete pushes Netflix to take its first real steps toward streaming. Early 2011, Netflix makes the riskiest move in its history, splitting the company in two. Streaming stays Netflix. DVDs become a new service called Qwikster. Simple idea, disastrous execution. Users suddenly had to pay separately, run two accounts, manage two separate queues. Then comes the bizarre part. The Twitter handle @Qwikster was already taken by a teenager with an Elmo avatar smoking a blunt. His feed was full of weed jokes and random memes. Netflix had to negotiate to buy the handle. The announcement triggers massive backlash. Netflix loses 800,000 subscribers in a single month, the biggest drop in its history. Stock crashes. Media calls it the dumbest rebrand of the decade. Inside Netflix, the team realizes the mistake. Not the split itself, but launching it before customers were ready. But this disaster forces one crucial conclusion. DVDs are finished. Streaming is the only future. After the Qwikster failure, Netflix realizes survival requires more than streaming. It requires making its own content. But here's the part most people don't know. Netflix didn't rely on gut feeling. They relied on data. A little-known fact, Netflix built 76,897 microgenres. Literally. They hired analysts and aspiring screenwriters to manually watch films and tag dozens of attributes: romance level, violence, tone, hero type, morality, ending structure, pacing. Each title became a massive metadata object. Algorithms combine these tags into ultra-precise taste profiles. These profiles led to the most important content decision in Netflix history, buying House of Cards. Netflix already knew its viewers loved Kevin Spacey, David Fincher, political dramas.
So they mathematically predicted the show would hit. Netflix offered $100 million for 2 seasons before a single frame was filmed. This broke Hollywood's traditional model. No pilots, no testing. Netflix said, "We already know the audience wants this." After House of Cards, everything changes. Netflix shifts from content buyer to global content creator. Spanish thrillers, Korean dramas, German sci-fi, all driven by data. This is the moment Netflix stops being an online DVD service and becomes a global studio.
Once Netflix became global, a new problem appeared: competition. Disney Plus, HBO Max, Apple TV Plus, and others entered the market. Studios pulled back their shows. Content disappeared from Netflix. Netflix shifted strategy toward international originals. Spanish, German, and Korean shows started going global. Hits like Money Heist and Squid Game proved content can come from anywhere. The streaming market slowed down. Subscriber growth fell. Netflix began looking for new directions. A gaming section quietly launched. Live event tests began. Stand-up specials, reality shows. An ad-supported plan appeared, something Netflix once rejected. Netflix started moving away from pure streaming. The company began shaping itself into a broader entertainment platform.
Netflix changed the industry in a few direct ways. First, it killed scheduled TV. Full-season drops became normal, and everyone copied the model. Second, it made international content global. Shows that once stayed local now became worldwide hits. Korean, Spanish, and German productions grew because of this shift. Third, Netflix turned personalization into a standard. Covers, recommendations, categories, everything became user-specific. Other platforms had to follow. Fourth, Netflix pushed Hollywood into streaming. Pilots, weekly releases, regional delays, the old system collapsed. But the main thing, Netflix proved a small company can break an entire industry. From a single mail DVD to a global platform that changed how the world watches stories.